What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So today we have a pretty awesome video for you guys. We are covering updated Cyber Orcust combos and deck profile. As you saw by the title, this is all under the assumption that Orcust Harp Horror comes back to at least one. We're going to assume it goes to one, if anything, on the next ban list that could drop any day now. Hopefully it actually drops a little later today, but we'll see. Keeping this assumption in mind, I am assuming that True King of All Calamities gets banned, so we are not running the PK play to where we can rank up our Dingirsu into Calamities, because, like I said, if we're assuming Harp comes back, that means we're getting a ban list, and we can safely assume Calamities is going to get banned. So it's just Cyber Orcust. We're going to go ahead and show you 4 different combos and then an actual test hand and then the deck list and talk about it. If you have seen me in the Cyber Dragon group on a couple posts, I've been a little bit critical of if Harp comes back to 1 and what that means for the deck. I don't think it's a consistency thing. I don't think the deck will be bad. The deck will be a lot better and definitely viable, but it's not going to be one of the top 1 or 2, 3 variants of Cyber Dragon, because I think it's just kind of power crept at this point. But I've been more vocal against the idea that Union Carrier is Nightmare Mermaid 2.0. I don't think that's really true at all. Mermaid was Galatea on its own without using any effects, and Union Carrier is usually you have to, well, 1, have a way to clear it off the field, and 2, burn through 1 to 3 of your Orcust effects before you actually get to Galatea. So I don't think the comparison is really fair at all. Mermaid is miles better than Union Carrier, but Union Carrier is a very vital piece, as you guys will see here. We're going to go ahead with this first one. We're going to ignore these 3 cards here. I mean, it's awesome when you open your Overflow, and Rev System, obviously a great extender that normally we would use in this combo. But Core Soldier, what does Core Extender do? We're going to show you 2 different routes to essentially get the same board. Then we're going to go search out your missing extender, her Soldier things. Let things catch up in the game, do what we want it to do. Obviously we'll show the different combos and you'll see the lines of play as we go. But we're going to go into Infinity there. And right there, I did that with the Union Carrier. We could have just used Core and hers into our Union Carrier, but I like to get the Linkaribo in the graveyard for setup, because now say they out our Infinity or something like that, or we detach our Nova and we draw into a way to get Naxter, we can summon Naxter, and what if they try to, say, Impermit or Forbidden Droplets it? I guess if they droplet it and send a monster, it's a little bit redundant because you're not going to be able to negate it or chain anyway. But let's say Imperm. You summon your Naxter, and they use like a Widow Anchor, Impermanence, Effect Failure, something of that sort. Instead of wasting your negate, you just chain your Linkaribo. Linkaribo summons, and then Naxter's effect resolves afterwards. So it's just getting that little setup in the graveyard and having that play at our disposal. So then, as you saw there, we're going to equip our Harp Horror to the Union Carrier and then just absorb it with Infinity. In this case, normally you'd use your Rev System, bring a monster back, make a Mega Fleet, so now you still have a monster on board, and you still get your Harp into the graveyard then. Harp summoning our Girsu, which then dumps our Nightmare. Nightmare can dump either your symbol or your wand, depending what you do. In this case, we wanted the wand. If you summoned off your Rev System, you could easily put the symbol in the graveyard. But just quick, easy 2-card combo to get 2 negates, your Crescendo and your Infinity. And here's where I'm saying it's kind of power crap, because you can play way less cards in the main deck, and actually a handful less in the extra deck too, and just make like Infinity Dragoon off the same exact hand. So it's just not quite as strong as it used to be. Counter trap over Dragoon. So there's pros and cons to it. Here again, Core Extender. Gonna just show you guys the combo and the route. Doesn't matter that we open Skeleton at all. Skeleton, Wand, if you open either one, you just can dump the other one off your Nightmare. And if you open your Nightmare or your Harp, it's actually really good because you don't even have to go into your Union Carrier at all. And that means you have more monsters on board to keep comboing and doing what you want to do. If you open your Girsu, it's a little trickier, but you just summon your Nightmare off your Harp, and then you banish your Nightmare to dump your wand or your symbol, and then use that to get another body on board. So this combo, we're just showing you a different route you can take if you attach your nightmare as opposed to your um, harp right away. So right here, we're going to go for the Galatea because we're not playing it, but you could have used your harp and your Girsu and went into any dark rank 4. The Evil Swarm, right? Evil Swarm Nightmare, I believe, is probably the best one you can do. Basically, Book of Moon your opponent twice. When they special summon a monster or monsters, you detach material and then Book of Moon them. You can do it both twice per turn. I mean, twice once turn because, you know, you're out of materials at that point. But that's just an option there if you want to go into a dark rank 4 play, or if we ever get a broken dark rank 4, that would be an option. So here, it's actually even better to open Harp than it is to open your Nightmare. But if you do open that, and obviously we had Dupe here with a baby Cyber Dragon, now we're going to go into our Barricade blocker because then you just discard it. So, like I said, now we get it into Graveyard. We can summon anything because we're not restricted from Union Carrier. And Barricade blocker, you know, he's still a monster that we can use for whatever. So we're just going to go ahead and combo here a little bit. We even opened a Babel, so that means we got Crescendo and Babel, so we could really set up nice plays in that regard as well too. So there we get our Crescendo. And here you can do different things. Since we had the Crescendo, you would probably want to go into a second Galatea here. And you can play your Babel, and then you still have your way into summoning Dingirsu on your opponent's turn. So keeping that in mind, like in this scenario, we're pretending we didn't have, I guess we had the Babel, so we can't pretend not, but put your Galatea here in that case, and then you got your send off Dingirsu, double negates, and we actually had a hand trap in hand too, so another hand down. One more that we're going to show here. What does Core Dupe do? Just Core Dupe, obviously. Those three aren't going to help the combo aspect of this whatsoever. So let's just see what we can do off of these. And it's, you know, when Cyber Orcust was like tier 1, Core Dupe was Crescendo, Infinity, and Overflow to pop 2. So it was a double negate and a pop 2. Can we match that? Can we beat it? Can we do something similar to it? We shall see, and then go from here. So kind of what we were saying last time, but not exactly the same. But like going for the Babel, because now we're going to go into our Dingirsu, attaching, and then we're going to go actually into our IP here. So we don't get the double negate pop 2, but we are going to get 2 non-destructions because we're going to get a spin back to the deck and a send from the field. So not quite as good as it used to be, but still pretty darn strong. Core Dupe does this, like we said, you get your spin off your unicorn, and then, you know, you get your Dingirsu to send one as well. So you got your Infinity, send, or spin, send, still 2 in hand because you discard 1 for your Nightmare. And then this was just a test hand where we actually played out everything in our hand, grabbing our hers so we can go for our combo. Opening Crescendo, so that's actually nice. Almost time to get to that deck list so you guys can see that. Since we have Cyber Dragon in our hand, we're going to grab Core from our graveyard to get that follow-up play. Then we can just discard the OG Cyber Dragon, go into our Nova, bring back a Cyber Dragon so that we can make a Mega Fleet. After we attach to get our Harp, we got our Mega Fleet. Now we can go ahead and do Orcust things. We're going to go for Babel, obviously, because Crescendo is in our hand. So, just about done here. And we're going to get our Nightmare, then we're going to return the Harp. Get Babel, Dingirsu, attach, go into another Galatea. So we have 2 negates, and we're going to have the send off of our Dingirsu. So pretty good. Like I said, the deck's definitely fun and much better with Harp, but it's not what it once was, sadly. But here's the deck list I put together, and it's something I would... Hand traps are subject to change based on the format, obviously. But I think this would be a super strong starting point, especially if the list actually drops later today and we got that Harp back. I would definitely suggest starting with something like this and then go from there and see what happens. 3 Cyber Dragon, 3 Core, 3 Hearse, 1 Naxter, 1 Fear. So not too surprising here. We're playing Dupe, so we really want to, you know, have your Core. Obviously, Core's going to be a 3 of. We want 3 Cyber Dragons because we're playing Dupe. hers, really strong extender. You already saw that core extender does good things, so we want, you know, lots of extenders. We got our 3 hers. Naxxter is a dupe target. It's a great revival. It can bring back Dingirsu, Infinity, Nova, or I mean your OG Cyber Dragon 2. It's a way to get an Orcust out of hand instead of barricade blocker as well. It's like, it's got a lot of little utility, but I found one was just seemed to work the most fluid and seemed to be the best for us. We have the 1 Cyber Dragon Fear. It's a free body on board. Thought about playing a 3rd Nightmare instead of Fear, but it just came up where, I mean, it's awesome if you open that Nightmare. That's why it basically replaces the free body of Fear, but you need the right cards to actually get to the blocker and get to your combo rolling without your opponent disrupting you, and that's where I felt like Fear put in its 2 cents and made its presence known and was the better of the two, comparing it to a 3rd Nightmare. Double Galaxy Soldier, great extender. 2 Nightmare, 1 Harp Horror, 1 Mech Girsu, 1 Symbol, 1 Wand. So, like I mentioned, if you open Symbol or Wand, it does not matter because you just dump the other one off your Nightmare. If you don't open either, you're usually going to send your Wand off your Nightmare. Symbol is more of a follow-up, so it's not bad if it's in your hand. You could get by absolutely playing 1 Nightmare, because if you open it, you just pitch it with Barricade Blocker. If you don't open it, I mean, then you summon it in the combo. So I guess it's a little redundant, kind of used to just our old ways of playing Cyber Orcust. Could really easily cut one of these and add in, say, like another hand trap or disruption. Probably would be the smarter way to go about it. We're going to actually just go ahead and do that here. We'll fill in our blank at the bottom. So we are going to cut that, because if you open it, you pitch it with blocker. If you don't open it, you summon it in the combo. Harp. If you open it, you pitch it with blocker. If you don't, you summon it in the combo. Opening multiples is unfortunate, but I mean, we're playing, you know, 5 1-ups here. That's basically Exodia. Are you going to open multiples of it? I mean, depending which ones, as long as you don't open these 2 specifically, you'll actually be all right. So not too worried. And you know, like opening 2 1-ups, it's like specific 1-ups, it's not something that you need to fear. If you open your Girsu, you're just going to summon your Nightmare off your Harp Horror, and then you're going to get, obviously, your Symbol or your Wand. So, I mean, if you open both of these, that could suck a little bit too. But, I mean, if you make your blocker and then can get to your carrier, because blocker is still a machine, so it is still possible, you're just not going to end on quite as good. It'd be like Infinity Crescendo Pass. But at the same time, maybe it would be a little more, because you're getting that free extender into the graveyard, and then your Nightmare gets the other one, so you actually have both anyway. 3 Cyber Emergency, pretty standard. 1 Repair Plant, we're playing Soldier, you want your Repair Plant. 1 Rev System for like that core dupe play. When that's your only play, you need the Rev System. Overload Fusion, it's a way to close out a game, but it's also a sacky extender because it summons a dark machine. It summons a dark monster, so you can use it after you start using your Orcust effects. And we're already playing the Rampage in case Nibiru on Nova anyway, because then we can still get our Infinity and continue going off, because the majority of what we're summoning from the extra deck can be all machines, like Union Carrier, Barricade Blocker, Galatea, all machines, Dingirsu machine, like. So we're not too worried if we use Naxxter's effect. 3 Machine Dupe and 1 Orcust Babble. 1 Foolish Burial, just really good consistency card. Puts 1 in the graveyard for free. Means you don't need your Union Carrier play, so more bodies on board to do your combo. 2 Overflow, because you really like to open it, but you don't want 3 and clogging up and breaking late game. The 1 Orcust Crescendo. A lot of time you can choose between Babble or Crescendo. There's no reason to play multiples of either. 3 Drill, 1 Ash, 1 Bell, 3 Meister. Of these 5, you want to open 1 of them. You don't want to open dead ones. And playing these 5, and if you only care about opening 1 of the 5, regardless, you don't care if it's Ash, Bell, or Meister, you just want to open any one of them. But in this case, if you open all 5 are live. You open any combination of the 4, all 4 are live. 3, they're live. 2, they're live. 1, it's live. You cannot open a dead hand trap with these ratios. So that's why we do that, and you'll see it in a lot of ours. At least as long as the format is basically that these 3 cards are equal in their effectiveness versus the top decks, I have no problem doing this. If we hit a format where Bell sucks and Ash is amazing and Meister's not that great, we're going to play 3 Ash. Like, it's very simple. But this format, I really like 1/1 and then however many Crow and Meister. Extra deck, 1 Mega Fleet, 1 Fortress. I mean, you just want them there. 1 Rampage. Mega Fleet would be the one that you could potentially cut. We'll see what happens with the ban list. 1 Nova, 1 Infinity, 1 Dingirsu. Then we have our Almirage, Linkuriboh, obviously, the double Galatea, 1 Union Carrier, Barricade Blocker, Utility, Masquerena, Unicorn, and Boral Sword. So Mega Fleet and Boral Sword are the first 2 that you could potentially cut, but I do like the utility they offer. Hopefully you guys liked this video. Make sure you comment down below. What would you do different? What do you think about it? What do you think about Harp coming back to 1? Can it happen? Should it happen? Will it happen? How do you like this type of video? There's a handful of other cards we can do this on, like what if it comes back? What if Summon Sources comes back to 1? What does that mean for Cyber Dragon? What can we do? What if Ib the World Justicar comes back to 1? Yeah, we got some pretty amazing spice for that too. Core Dupe, you know, making Infinity, Savage, Crystal Wing off 2 cards, kind of good. What about O-Lion? It pairs up with Ib really nicely. What about Mermaid? What would be better? Cyber Orcust with no Mermaid, 1 Harp, or no Harp, 1 Mermaid? My money's on Mermaid. We'll see what you guys think. Otherwise, you know, we could run a Sky Strike, Cyber Striker again with 1 Engage. What about if Engage comes back to 1? Like, is there any interest in a series starting up about this type of thing? Let us know down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, take care.